be prudent, be wise, and where people are actually searching, where actual ROI is coming from. It is prudent to be omnipresent. Welcome back to another episode of the Home Hero Podcast. Today we are talking about ChatGPT launching a paid advertising platform. It's super early, so we're just going to be uncovering kind of the initial details, who it's for, all that good stuff, just to keep everybody informed as far as being a family-owned handyman trade business. So you'll probably see stuff about this online, and it's always spun in a way to make it seem like it's the biggest deal ever and you got to get on it or else you're going to be left behind. So take heart that the first iteration of ChatGPT releasing paid ads requires massive budgets that are just going to be beyond any true family-owned local home service business. Minimum $50,000 a month in ad spend. So most of our listeners out here are probably not spending at least $50,000 a month. The early figures that I saw when they first were doing some beta testing, it was like 6 or so months ago, was $100,000 a month. So currently, the kind of too long didn't read version here is it's definitely not for local home service businesses, local family owned handyman businesses. If someone were running a large franchise with over 100 locations, it certainly could be applicable to them. But because it's so early, there's just no kind of research and data out there as far as case studies within the home service space. Mostly big brands. Kobe, I know you mentioned seeing, a couple of the big brands that were being tied to this whole ChatGPT ads. So that's kind of the update. What are your thoughts, Kobe, or any questions?
Yeah, the thing that I think is worth kind of pointing out in the start is we're not talking about like organic results in ChatGPT, like somebody typing in, help me find the best handyman near me, and in the chat it's giving you, um, you know, hey, check out this guy. He's got this many reviews on Angie. The SEO or AI, AEO, whatever you want to call it, kind of the AI search engine optimization type thing. This is completely separate. We're talking about running paid ads on
Mhm.
ChatGPT, which seems like they're the first AI platform to start rolling this out and introducing it. So we're talking about running paid ads, paying money to ChatGPT to force a sponsored ad to show up in somebody's chat when they're asking something that's theoretically relevant to what they're asking ChatGPT about.
Yeah, thanks for clarifying that, man. Crystal clear. So, yeah, the use case here is it's basically ChatGPT's kind of Google ad. So on Google, if someone searches handyman near me, handyman services, city, state, you're going to see the paid results, local service ads, pay per click. You're going to see the rank, the like map pack with your Google business profile with your reviews, and then website listings. This is ChatGPT's kind of first paid ads platform where someone is searching ChatGPT for the best handyman in your area, these ads that I've seen are at the bottom of kind of the answer there. They actually look really nice. I like the design of them. And I've only seen examples of one ad being shown, which makes sense because there's just the space is not crowded. They've really slowly rolled this out. So great clarification though. And the AI optimization as far as organically being recommended in ChatGPT, the official industry where the industry has identified it is AEO, which is answer engine optimization. I've seen that stick for over a year now, been more than that. So it's AEO is kind of the more industry term for AI optimization, basically SEO, search engine optimization, but for AI. We won't go into the weeds there. That's a whole different episode we could chat about. But for the purpose of this episode, absolutely, this is for running paid ads to be recommended at the bottom of those ChatGPT results.
Yeah, and I think it's also worth noting, at least as of now, these paid ads, and they've only rolled this out to, like a beta market. So they've got a select, number of businesses that they're allowing to do this, just per what they've got on their website. But the example they gave in there, just to give some context around like what these look like, they gave an example of somebody asking, ChatGPT for like recipe ideas, and ChatGPT spits out its normal response and gives a bunch of ideas for recipes, that you could cook for your potluck or whatever it is. And then at the bottom below the normal response that ChatGPT would typically give, then it would have that, the sponsored ad that would say, like, DoorDash or Instacart or whatever it would be,
Yeah.
get your groceries delivered. So it's like adjacent to, you're asking about recipes, you might need, your groceries delivered. And they put that at
Mhm.
the bottom. So the idea is it's not supposed to change the result or the answer that ChatGPT would normally give you. It's just kind of an addendum at the bottom, like, hey, by the way, I
Yeah.
can get your groceries delivered for this thing.
Yeah, that's it's a whole interesting topic too, because yeah, we're kind of getting a more conversational response using AI, right? And that clarity on the advertiser is not affecting the organic result. It's kind of an interesting thing to think about, and I would certainly hope it stays that way. It'd also be interesting to see as assuming they roll out paid ads for regular business owners, small local home service companies, even $1 million HVAC companies, plumbing companies, just not a good fit for them yet. It'll be interesting to see how that develops when in Google with local service ads, they're typically showing like two or three options that they're all paying to be there. Pay per click can have anywhere from like one to usually like three or four at the most at the top of the page. So it'll be interesting to see how it develops. One word of encouragement here is one of someone in my kind of networking group within the marketing agency world. He owns $3 million home service companies. Two are in HVAC, one is in plumbing. And so he stays up to speed on all this, of course, with his own home service companies. And their analysis from quarter 4 of 2025, where they're getting thousands and thousands of leads. They had one documented lead from ChatGPT, so it counts for just less than 1% of their total visibility, which is interesting in the business world space because 90% of the conversation in online marketing is about AI and ChatGPT. Um, but such a small portion of the actual results are currently coming from it. Will consumer behavior change as the platforms change? Absolutely. We should always seek to be where people are searching for help right now for local home services, whether it's plumbing, HVAC, handyman services. So it's prudent to be there. There is certainly strategies to be ranking there organically, which we do as part of our service. And the development of paid advertising, it'll just be interesting. So take heart that as all this develops, when you should start taking it seriously is whenever it's actually a reasonable part of like the market share of where your leads are coming from, where people are searching. It's just not there right now to certainly spend a large amount of stress or worry or money to be there because it's just a small fraction of your total visibility right now. Will that change in a year, 2 years? Very likely as consumer behavior shifts, and we'll certainly be keeping up to date with that. And the purpose of these episodes here is just to kind of talk about what's happening right now. Any other kind of thoughts or questions on the subject of ChatGPT, paid ads, or anything I just mentioned there, Kobe?
Yeah, the last thing I wanted to say, it's just kind of, reiterating what you just said, but Google, when it comes to online marketing, Google's still kind of the top dog, especially when we're talking about home service businesses. That's where people are looking to find, a handyman near me, a plumber near me, is Google. And so my sort of prediction, based on nothing but Kobe's opinion, I guess, is that when we're talking about like AI is going to be more prevalent in search and people are going to use it more to find local businesses near them, I think if I could predict it, I think it's going to be Google integrating their own AI, which they're already doing, Gemini, into Google searches. When you type something on Google, it gives you that AI blurb at the top sometimes. And so I think most of the searches, if they start to transition towards AI, it's going to be because Google is integrating their AI with standard Google searches
Hmm.
more and more. That's a prediction based on absolutely nothing, but just a wild guess from Kobe. But
Yeah, and I believe that's accurate. Google, at the end of the day, it's one of the largest companies in the world. They hire the smartest people in the world theoretically because they pay them the most money. And they have massive incentive to adopt AI and Gemini and use. How does that look in search results? What do people enjoy about ChatGPT that we could use on Google? So they have massive incentive to do this and do this really well. So it will be interesting to kind of see how Google certainly develops Gemini. How does that affect a big part for us is how in any home service business is how is that going to affect your Google business profile, your organic rankings. Of course, this is why we keep up with all this because our clients, we have an obligation to make sure they have visibility organically in Google, in ChatGPT and AI platforms. So my kind of encouragement for all our listeners is, be prudent, be wise in where people are actually searching, where actual ROI is coming from. It is prudent to be omnipresent, within reason based on the scope and size of your business. But is it good now to be recommended in ChatGPT and Gemini and Claude? Absolutely. Is it prudent to be ranking in Google and have your Google profile with lots of reviews? Absolutely. Posting to social media. So, my encouragement is, there's lots of buzz. There always will be in marketing news, business news, and anything that says, oh, Google is dead, your business needs to change, you're going to go out of business. Like, remember how the internet works. Be honest with your business and your marketing and focus on the things that are moving the needle.
it's good stuff.
All right.
Thank you for joining us for another episode of the Home Hero Podcast, brought to you by Handyman Marketing Pros.